Hello everybody, my name is Brandon. Welcome back to the channel. I'm here today with my February 2021 TBR and TBW video. So this is where I talk to you guys about some of the things I hope to read and watch in the month of February. So as you guys know, if you've been following the channel, I do have a TBW game that I play, my letter and prompt game. But I am going to pause that for the month of February, and hopefully I will improve upon it during the month and bring it back in March to make it even better than it was previously. So that's the goal, but I just wanted to throw that out here up front just in case that's the reason you're here. For some reason, you might like that the best. Unfortunately, it will be gone this month, but it will hopefully make its return next month. That said, I still will talk about the things I hope to watch, and I'll talk about some results from my previous TBW, so stay tuned for that in the second half. We're going to kick it off, though, with all of the books I hope to read. So let's start with my TBR, and then we'll move over to my TBW. So let's not waste any more time at all. Let's dive right in. We'll start with audiobooks, and the first one on my list is a Star Wars book. This is called Last Shot, written by Daniel Jose Older. So this one came out right around the same time as Solo, a Star Wars story, because it is basically like a tie-in to that. I guess it's technically a sequel to that. I believe it takes place like a year or two or shortly after the events of Solo, which is a film I have not yet seen, so maybe it'll be on this TBW. Who knows? I guess we'll see later. But yeah, I finished the first book that I wanted to do in this kind of Star Wars reading order I have set for myself this year. And that is Catalyst, a Rogue One story, which is the prequel to the film Rogue One. So yeah, I'm really excited to continue on in this series because these Star Wars audiobooks are done so well. They have like music in them and things. They're very engaging. I really enjoy them. So really excited to check out this one. We are following, I believe, Lando Calrissian and Han Solo on another adventure, basically, so should be pretty fun. So the first one on my list is Star Wars Last Shot, written by Daniel Jose Older, and I'm hoping to do this one on audiobook because I do own it on Audible. Next up is one that I do own in the physical form, but I completely forgot to grab it, but this is Animorphs book number 7, The Stranger, written by K.A. Applegate. So you guys know I started the Animorphs series last year, and I actually started continuing it again for the first time in a few months back in January, so I'm really excited to continue through this. I recently discovered that Hoopla has the first 10 books on audiobook, and they are new recordings from 2020, so I listened to book number 6 in January, and I thought the audiobook recording, the narration, was super well done. So I'm going to continue on in the audiobook form until book 10, and then I will pick up book 11 in the physical form back in my collection again. But yeah, this is a really great story, and I can't really talk too much about it because it gives spoilers for the previous books, so just know that this is going to continue the story of our Animorph children, so it's going to be a lot of fun. So book number 7, The Stranger, written by K.A. Applegate, is another one on my list. And the final audiobook I have on my list is The Woman in Black, written by Susan Hill. So this is one that has been on my list for a very long time to read. I know there is the film, The Woman in Black, which stars Daniel Radcliffe, and frankly, it's a pretty mediocre movie. I didn't hate it, but I didn't really love it that much either, so I'm hoping and I'm hearing that the book is done a lot better. So I'm really interested in checking this one out. I finally pulled the trigger on it. It was in my Audible wish list for the longest time, so I finally ended up grabbing it at the beginning of this year, so I'm really excited to get to this one. So I will be doing The Woman in Black by Susan Hill on Audible, and I can't wait to get to it. So that is the final audiobook on my list for February. Let's move over to my graphic novel I hope to do this month, and the first one is Fables, Legends in Exile, Volume 1, written by Bill Willingham. So there is a video I've already filmed. I don't know if it's out yet or if it'll be out shortly after this one, but I do talk about 21 pieces of media I hope to consume in 2021, and you may, if you've already seen that one, you may recognize some of these titles from that. This is another one that's on that list, but this one is basically like an adult fairy tale stories or fable stories, but they're done in a darker, grittier way is how I've understood it. So very interested in checking this out. I've owned it for a super long time, so it's about time I finally got to it. So Fables Volume 1, Legends in Exile by Bill Willingham is going to be the first graphic novel on my list this month. And then the second graphic novel is going to be one I borrowed from the library. This is called Through the Woods, Stories by Emily Carroll. So this is an interesting one because it's actually a short story anthology done in the graphic novel form, and you can see some of the artwork there looks really cool. So super interested in this one. I heard about this through one of Books and Lala's videos, I believe. Somebody recommended it to her. She didn't love it, but she's not a graphic novel person. I really am, and so hopefully I will enjoy it. So this one should be pretty scary from what I hear, but we'll see. We'll check it out this month. So Through the Woods, Stories by Emily Carroll is the second graphic novel on my list. And then I have 2 novels on the list as well, and both of these are from the library. This first one, frankly, I was hoping I wouldn't have to have it on my February TBR, but it is now the last day of January when I'm filming this, and I still have about, I don't know, 40 pages or so to go, so I just don't see it happening tonight with my schedule. But this one is Night of the Mannequins, written by Stephen Graham Jones. So like I said, I'm pretty good portion of the way through this pretty short book, to be honest with you, and it's really, really good so far. So basically what this one is about are these friends decide to pull this prank on one of their other friends who works at a movie theater. So they grab their old mannequin that they found at a dumpster a couple years back and kind of put it together to look like a person. So they're putting it in the theater to try to scare either her friend or her friend's manager. And then all of a sudden, at the end of the movie, the mannequin stands up and walks away. And then things take a super dark turn that I did not see coming at all. So it is just a fascinating story. I'm really enjoying this one. So I will finish this one hopefully in the next couple days, and then we'll move on to something else. But Night of the Mannequins by Stephen Graham Jones is going to be the first novel on my February TBR. And then we're going to wrap up the TBR with another book I borrowed from the library. This is called In the House in the Dark of the Woods, written by Laird Hunt. So this is another one that I discovered thanks to Books and Lala. I believe it was she did this video this past year that was like reading all of the horror books from like Goodreads best of 2020 list. And I think this was one of those that was on there, if I remember right. So she said that it was like really scary, really creepy book. So that's the reason I was interested in it. And it's kind of like, it looks shorter, but I guess it is over 200 pages. Yeah, just over 200 pages. You can see the font size there. So hopefully this will be one I should easily be able to complete this month. But yeah, this is, from what I can tell, just like a story of a girl who either goes missing or has run away. And then we are following her journey through the woods. And obviously it's going to be some type of ghost story at that point. So very interested in checking this one out. So the last one on my TBR for February is In the House in the Dark of the Woods, written by Laird Hunt. So this is normally the point in the video where I grab my deck of cards and my Scrabble bag and we start pulling letters and cards to pick my TBW. But as I mentioned at the start of this video, I am going to pause that just for this month. So I'm hoping to just make it better. I want to make it a little less consuming for me, and I want to make it a little more timely for you guys, because basically at this point, you're seeing my TBW that I'm going to do in 2 months' time. So I want to make it a little more condensed, I guess, a little more compact. So this month I will talk about how I did with my books that were on the verge of being unhauled. I keep mixing up the word books and movies, but you know what I mean. I'm going to talk about the movies that were on the verge of being unhauled if I didn't watch them in January, and then we'll talk about everything else that I plan to watch in February. So let's start with those. There were 4 books that I didn't watch from my December TBW that I needed to watch in January, or otherwise I would have to have gotten rid of them according to the rules. So The Life and Death of Colonel Blimp, Straw Dogs, Miss Peregrine's Home for Peculiar Children, and Underworld. Fortunately, because I really didn't want to get rid of any of these, I was able to get these in the month of January. And I'll tell you, the results were pretty promising. I had a really good time watching the majority of those. So I will talk about those in an upcoming wrap-up or some review videos in the future. But I just wanted to let you guys know I have nothing that I have to unhaul for this month, which is always a good thing. So looking at the, I guess it would have been my January TBW. I did not get to any of the 3 that were on there, so I do have those on my TBW this month. So first up is Mission Impossible, the original one, and I own that one on Blu-ray. And then Kill Katie Malone, another one. I grabbed this one from the Dollar Tree on Blu-ray. And then finally, the Vinegar Syndrome release, Runaway Nightmare. So these 3 are on my TBW for February. And in order to stick with my rules, if I don't watch these, then I do have to get rid of them. So hopefully I will be able to get through all of these, because again, I don't want to get rid of anything. So the goal is to watch all of those this coming month in February. But let's talk about some new things that you guys have not seen yet. And I will mention that I have no rules around these. If I don't get to them, I don't get to them. But because they are what they are, I'm pretty certain I will, because I've been wanting to prioritize these for quite a while now. So I'm really excited about these ones. If you guys watched my Christmas haul, you'll know that I received this set then for Christmas, and I just haven't gotten around to it yet. So that's going to change this month. We are finally going to start this. And I say we, I mean my wife and I, because she's been anxiously awaiting this. this. So we're going to watch Harry Potter and the Sorcerer's Stone. And this is one that I'm not going to watch this whole set in February, I'm sure, but I want to make it at least some of the way through it, at least start it in February, because I definitely want to do a review on this 4K set to see if it's worth the upgrade or not. So in February, we're finally going to start this Harry Potter and the Sorcerer's Stone. And I do know that the extended version is only available on Blu-ray. The 4K version is like the theatrical cut. So I will unfortunately be watching the theatrical versus the extended, but that's only the case for the first 2 films, I believe. Yeah, you can see on the back there, and somebody who subscribed to the channel also pointed that out to me. So good to know. I appreciate knowing that. And so, yeah, that's just something that you got to deal with. For whatever reason, they don't have the extended cuts on 4K for the first 2 films, but we will be watching this in February for sure. Super excited to get to this one. Next up is a film that I have been talking about for weeks and weeks now, probably months now at this point, but I need to dedicate myself to this. This is The Dark and the Wicked, and this one was released, I believe, last year, yeah, 2020, but it's directed by the guy who did The Strangers, which is one of my favorites all time, Brian Bertino. So I've heard nothing but amazing things about this, so I really want to check this out and do a Blu-ray review on it once I get around to it this month. So look for a Blu-ray review of this sometime in February, because I'm definitely putting this one in the player and finally going to watch it. I've been saying that for weeks now, but this is the month. It's happening this month. So The Dark and the Wicked from 2020 is another one I'm going to watch in February. I mentioned earlier that I read Catalyst, a Rogue One story in January, which means now it's time for the movie. So this is Rogue One, a Star Wars story. And this is a sealed 4K version, but I have seen this. I saw it in theaters when it came out. So I'm really interested in finally checking this one out again, because I enjoyed it the first time I watched it. I know it doesn't get a whole lot of love, but I thought it was enjoyable. And now that I've basically read like Jin's origin story and kind of the whole origin behind this, I'm super intrigued to check this one out again. So Rogue One, a Star Wars story is going to be another one I'm going to check out on 4K this month. And then after that, I'm going to go immediately over to Solo, a Star Wars story. And this one actually is opened on 4K, but that's just because I bought it used. So I've not watched this one yet. This is one in the Star Wars universe that I've yet to see. So I intended to get to this one last year. It just never happened. So in February, I'm finally making sure it happens. I've read Catalyst, and then I'm going to watch Rogue One, and then I'm going to watch Solo, and then I'm going to read Last Shot, which I talked about in my TBR. So very excited to get to these 4 Star Wars items, or 3, I guess. I already did 1. So Solo, a Star Wars story, is going to wrap up all the movies I hope to watch in February. And there it is, everything that I'm hoping to finish in the month of February. So I know February is a little bit of a shorter month, but hopefully I will be able to get to these. I know one of the books I'm almost already done with, so it shouldn't be too terribly difficult, and I'm really excited about all of them. So let me know down in the comments below if you guys have read or watched any of these, anything I should prioritize on top of anything else. Let me know down in the comments below, and also let me know what you guys are planning on finishing in February, be it books, movies, if there's something you plan to play, let me know that as well. I love having more of a conversation with you guys down there. As always, if you guys did enjoy this video, please consider subscribing to Cinefessions here on YouTube. And if not, well, thank you for watching this one. I really do appreciate that. And like I always say, I don't just talk books or movies, I talk all things media. Be it books, movies, video games, graphic novels, collectibles. If it's media related, I'm interested in it. And if you are too, you might consider subscribing. Alright guys, so that's going to do it for today. I just want to say thank you all so much for watching, and I want to encourage you to consume some media today. I'll catch you next time.